one of the most consistent ways that the Suns have been able to keep the Nuggets defense in rotation and to play within the advantages that are set from their base defense has been via their 77 action. And we've spoken on 77 ad nauseum over the course of the season, and especially in this series. And it seemed like Denver didn't have many counters that they could go to in terms of defending this specific action. And they showed that they actually do have one last resort in terms of trying to muddy up the flow and the process for the Suns in this specific setting and context when the Suns have the ball on offense. So let's go ahead and dive into the 77 reps from the Suns yesterday, looking at what the Nuggets did to muddy that flow and process, how the Suns countered when they decided to counter it appropriately, and what they could potentially try and do more moving forward to get just the continued advantages that they were able to create out of that specific setting in Game 6. So let's go ahead and dive into the film. All right, this first play, we're going to see again. So 77 is double drag. We got Devin Booker bringing the ball up the floor. You got Kevin Durant as the first screener guarded by Aaron Gordon. And we got DeAndre Ayton as the second screener guarded by Nikola Jokic. And as we let it flow through, we see what happened here is Aaron Gordon is sticking behind Kevin Durant, and then it would be two to the ball essentially on the switch as KCP is screened by Durant. Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic will be putting two to the ball on the other side of DeAndre Ayton. Or Devin Booker will be kind of just stringing them out just to kind of stretch the defense and then force the rotations on the back line to be compromised. What we're seeing here, though, however, is them putting two to the ball in this first rep, saying, no, we're not doing this again. We saw enough of this in Phoenix, and even stemming from Game 2, we're not doing this today. And they put two to the ball. They blitz Devin Booker. It catches them off guard a little bit. You can see the Suns get a little bit of a surprising reaction. Nonetheless, the shot quality is high, but they weren't knocking down their shots early. And even though that shot quality was high, especially for Kevin Durant, it's a miss, and that's a win for the Nuggets. Setting the tone early, sending a message, and telling them that we're taking this off the table. And here we go into the second rep here. We're going to see again, Durant is the first screener. DeAndre Ayton is the second screener. We see Aaron Gordon peeled in early, splitting after the first screen, and in between before he gets to the second screen, hedging out, saying, no, we're stagnating this flow, we're muddying up the process in this specific context. And last time we saw blitz, this time they're going with ice or weak coverage, keeping Devin Booker to his left hand, denying him from getting to the middle third of the floor. So as we see here, it's going to be Aaron Gordon walling off that middle third. We see Ayton setting the screen. We see Kevin Durant respacing as he sees what's going on from the defensive coverage, and they space out. What we're going to make note of here is that Nikola Jokic is up at the level of the screen, but he doesn't apply pressure. So that gives Devin Booker some space to work with and negotiate with. He does a good job kind of stretching it. And because he's able to have this space to negotiate with the dribble and still get a little bit downhill just to engage Jokic even more and also put stress on the backline rotations again. As we see Bruce Brown down here tagging on DeAndre Ayton, he's waiting for that confirmation on the tag to let him know that he's as close as he could possibly be to the roller. As soon as he sees that confirmation, he skips it over to Landry Shamet. Shamet does an excellent job attacking this closeout. This is exactly what you want in the communication from DeAndre Ayton, attracting that attention from the low man. Devin Booker being patient with his live dribble, not rushing. Also doing this with his left hand is more than impressive, and it has to be made note of. And then Shamet lifting up just enough to be in position to create an angle for this pass that's advantageous for Devin Booker to hit him with. Does a good job on the catch, attacking that top foot, getting into that pocket, and beating the rotation before Aaron Gordon can come off of Devin Booker to try to help as Nikola Jokic goes over to the block to rotate after Bruce Brown gets beat off the closeout. Great timing. Suns get it to the second side out of this action, and they get 2 points by virtue of making the defensive dominoes of the Denver Nuggets fall. Here, the next rep, we're going to see, again, Durant is the first screener. Aaron Gordon's popping up to hedge out, saying, no, you're not getting middle third. And then we got Jokic here on DeAndre Ayton. And we're going to pay attention to where Nikola Jokic is on this play because The last time we saw this, he was up near the level, a lot closer to it. This time, he's a lot slower getting into it. Devin Booker acknowledges it and then immediately puts stress on it. Because as you can kind of see, Jokic is trying to still get closer, but he's walking. He's very blasé and lackadaisical about getting up there. So Devin Booker counters by going quick. So he gets the screen. You see the point of the screen is super high. It's all the way at the bottom or at the top of the Denver Nuggets logo here going into the half court. And we're going to see Devin Booker just threaten it. Does a great job with his process and saying, okay, if you're going slow, I'm going to take advantage of this space that you're conceding. And now it's an emergency drop here as we see Jokic backpedaling. And if you see someone backpedaling with a dribbler at the point of the screen this high, getting downhill, 9 times out of 10, this is an extreme advantage for the offense. As we see the in and out dribble, and then we see the crosshair from Devin Booker. Great job of completely discarding of Nikola Jokic getting downhill, and he's going to get free throws out of this. All right, the next rep here we're going to see again, 77. Aaron Gordon stepping up, hedging out again, saying no middle third for you, Devin Booker, out of this action. And now look at the sense of urgency with Jokic. So last time he was walking up real blasé and lackadaisical. This time, look at the sense of urgency here. You see the difference? And he's up to touch, and he's helping to flatten him out. So now they go with a slight switch for a second, and then they go double, as you can see. And this is partly on Devin Booker for not being a little bit more going to be on DeAndre Ayton, as, again, recognizing coverage is important. If you're not going to roll hard to the basket, you have to sit in this channel around the free throw line. DeAndre Ayton, especially off of where the help defense is, will want to stop here. You want to sit when you're open, not when you're covered. If that's what you want to be doing in the middle third, is being an outlet and not sucking in the defense off of your roll gravity. So if you're going to go this route, you can't backpedal into a catch into the paint in this scenario. And because there's no contact created from DeAndre Ayton and he doesn't attack the ball and he's too deep into the paint, this ends up being a turnover. Michael Porter Jr. is able to get over the top of here and steal that passing angle away. All right, this next rep here coming in the second half. We're going to see them switch it up a little bit. They go with a little bit of a ram screen here. But in my opinion, if you're going to go with this, you have to actually set the screen if you're DeAndre Ayton. Otherwise, Kevin Durant can just walk into it and concede what's going to end up being weak coverage as expected in the last few reps from the Nuggets. If you're going to do this, you have to actually set the screen. That way you can get some type of separation for you to flow into the next action, whether that's a created reaction advantage for Kevin Durant to slip through and kind of ghost this screen, and then allow for Devin Booker to get downhill as KCP and Aaron Gordon switch. There will be more distance for Devin Booker to either get downhill or for Kevin Durant to fan out to that left side and be open to play within an advantage off of that. But because the screen isn't truly set, there's just a little bit of a brush if he makes contact at all. Aaron Gordon is able to get into the position that he wants to get into and weaken this coverage with Devin Booker here, keeping him to his left hand, keeping him away from the middle third. And then you see Nikola Jokic is up. They get 2 to the ball. Devin Booker's patient, but Aaron Gordon plays great defense here. And because at the top of the play, that screen wasn't truly set in the ram action part of it, they're essentially conceding to what the Nuggets are doing defensively and dictating. And this is just great defense from Aaron Gordon there. So what the Suns did to try to counter this, because the advantage was still there, they just had to be a little bit more evolved in their process getting into it. How about we put Cam Payne in the mix? Let him run it with his left hand, of course. And let's switch up the screeners as well. Let's take Aaron Gordon out of that because he's hedging out, he's icing it, he's weakening it, he's keeping the ball from getting to the middle third and muddying up the flow, in addition to Nikola Jokic. So if you switch it, you put Cam Payne as the initiator here, Devin Booker as the screener, the first screener, and this is now Jock Landale in, but it's still Nikola Jokic that's screening, that's going to be on the other side of the second screen. What's unique about this one is that, no Aaron Gordon is going to mean the defensive pressure is going to look a little different, as well as the size. In addition to that, if Cam Payne is initiated, that means that in any screening action or handoff action, Nikola Jokic is going to be in a drop instead of being up at the level of the screen, blitzing, flat hedging, or up the touch and dropping back. That's going to allow for the Suns to get into the meat and potatoes of what they've been trying to get to here, which is essentially the advantage of playing on the second side. It gets Cam Payne downhill. They're able to attract the attention and get to the low man rotation as well. As we see here, the process is a lot cleaner, as you can see. They get the stagger screen sloped to where they're essentially going downhill instead of being flat. They're also able to navigate without the muddy process of ball pressure as well, with Aaron Gordon not being in the mix. Campaign's able to get downhill coming off of the second screen with Nikola Jokic in a deep drop, super deep drop, as you can see him almost in the middle of the paint. Campaign's able to turn the corner, engage him first. Then Jock Landale gets into his role, which engages Michael Porter Jr., the low man. Very well-timed pass here from Cameron Payne. Nice lift up from the corner from Terrence Ross. Again, a second side assassin when he's allowed to be positioned in this play like this. And he's able to knock down this catch-and-shoot opportunity. And then next, this last rep here. They didn't go to it as much, 77 in general, just because of the defensive pressure involved from the Nuggets. And they were kind of slow to adjust with their process. Nonetheless, we saw this rep here, and this is going to be something to keep in mind as we get into Game 6 of this series. And that went to Oklahoma action. So 77 is, of course, the double drags. So we see the double drags, and then we're going to see that second screener go Ricky and rescreen, setting the screen for the screener, the first screener in the 77 action, which is Devin Booker. And we're going to see the shot quality again because it creates a 2-versus-1 with Nikola Jokic again in the drop with Cameron Payne initiating and pick and roll. So we're going to see, you see Jokic in the middle of the paint, and it's a 2-versus-1 here with this screen from Jock Landale on the rescreen for Devin Booker. They go to the Oklahoma part of it. They get the look that they desire, and it just doesn't fall. It was just one of those games in terms of their execution within their offensive process, especially shooting from deep. Nonetheless, this is something to keep in the back pocket to kind of look for moving forward, as if they do go to 77, which I'm sure they will in a more evolved process to unmuddy what the Nuggets were doing defensively, this could be something else we see. So hat tip to the Denver Nuggets for the adjustment they made, but the Suns have to be much better and much cleaner with their process and the pace that they move at and the pieces that they use within it to keep the advantage that's being set whenever they are able to get into it to put the Nuggets in rotation.